We're going live. We are going live. Like live. Going live, everybody. We're going live. Here we go. All right. I got my pen in hand because I was just doing some notes. Gorgeous, gorgeous day at the beach. Gorgeous day at the beach. You see the beach? Beach, beach, beach. Beach, beach, beach. See the beach? Gorgeous day at the beach. And we are going live. I think we're going live. Yeah, it says live. And so I was having a really amazing connection with all of the multiverse species. I just get so excited. And we talk about, who was I speaking with, Spirit? Yes, the ancestors. So we're going to have just like a one-off, whatever comes through, comes through. And I've got a little bit of a channel from the guides and the ancestors, from 5D Earth. Feeling so good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There's been a huge shift. And you can really feel the difference in energy. It just feels really like chill and vibing and just like super, super chill. Just really relaxing into your own space, relaxing into your own body. And the more that you love your body, the more that you take care of your body, the more that you put your self-care and your body first, you'll find it easier just to fall into those moments of vibing. And vibing is, because I understand the energy of laziness, because usually when your chakras are shut down and there's been a lot of work on your chakras and you're healing a lot of black magic and a lot of chakra wounding, laziness is one of the things that kind of comes hand in hand with chakra wounding. So you just feel into the difference. And when you're moving through vibrational changes and ascension, the vibrational platforms that you're sitting on, it's really good and key to know that 3D is not 5D, so you have to behave in different ways. That means allowing yourself to go for more walks, treat your body as the vessel of light that it is, because it's really the embodiment of who you are as spirit. You're the promoter of the heavens. And so in that, you want to be able to be taking in yourself in different ways. So it's a partnership again with you, the entanglement with you, the vibrational things that make you feel happy. Everyone has a different chemistry makeup for what they're meant to inspire, ignite, activate, and anchor. That means that the more that we all get moving into our own more soulful DNA, more soulful interactions, meaning that when you're calling in those divine soul fragments and you're harmonizing with them and you're living more as a soul, connecting with your soul every day, talking with your ancestors every day, you're living as a multiverse vibrational being. You're accessing the vibrational planes of, if you can imagine, like dimensional codes. So there's always an infinite platform and vibrational ladder, if you will, like the Jacob's ladder is really what that means, is the vibrational, because they didn't have words in those terms back then. We didn't have technology back then when all of these, ancient sacred texts were written, but the prophets could only explain it in the best ways that they could. So Jacob's ladder is the essences that you have to take upon the steps of vibration to allow yourself the eternal expansiveness of who you are as a being of light. You are eternal. There is always going to be, I'll put this up there in case there's light ships. There was light ships in our last video, by the way. So always watch out in our windows in our videos. I sometimes forget. And so, as a multi-vibrational being, there's always the platforms of energy, of platform, of vibrational play that you can have in the bandwidth that you are belonging in. So remember, dimension is vibration and information that's held within an expansive area of consciousness. That's all a dimension is. Dimension is not a place. Dimension is not like a hardcore room that you're going into. It can, in and of essence, because that's what portals are. Portals are vibrational shifts in coding, purpose of intention, and what that portal holds and what it's being activated in. And there's many beings throughout the universe, many beings throughout the multiverse that are responsible for portals. Gaia has many beautiful portals. The fairies and the elementals help with portals. Multiverse, interdimensional beings work a lot with portals on the planet here, because they help study the plant life, they help study the ecosystems here, and they help add to it based on where humanity is at with our consciousness. So portals hold a lot of different reasons and purposes. So portals are those vibrational areas, if you will, that are uniquely coded and aligned for a specific job and a role. And it helps beings and interdimensional beings and interdimensional entities move back and forth within dimension without it harming the planet or the ecosystem. And it also provides information because we're constantly feeding information back and forth because we're going through a very, very exciting time. This is the first time Earth has gone through this beautiful experience of ascension. Our topography is changing, our biosphere is changing. There's lots of us that work with the grids, there's lots of us that work with Gaia, and we're constantly working with empowering and inspiring and really playing with the species of the plant life that we have and the animal life that we have. And many of us are part of many councils because I've had many appointments with you, those that are going to be working with animal life and plant life to teach different variations of how we can expand in our knowledge, our wisdoms, and our understandings and intelligence, and working more in symbiosis than 5D. At our 5D vibrational level, the dimensions will include so much more about our planet and understanding our planet, living in symbiosis with our planet than we've ever held before, because in most of our timelines previous, we have not been homeostasis in intelligence with our planet. So this 5D shift from 3 to 5D will be a very much, and this is why many of you have been prepared and are being prepared right now by your teams and your guides to really get outside more, explore more. You might be inspired to take botanical classes, things like that, because you're going to be a part of the natural, beautiful, mysterious program that you are with your teams and your guides and your first contact teams, to start to work more in alliance with the higher vibrational teams. We can do a whole class on this because it's quite in depth. The vibrational bandwidth that is held on every vibrational consciousness level, because remember, there's no physical thing in a dimension. There is only when you create it and you're perceiving it. Dimension is consciousness and intelligence. The wisdoms and the information is held within that consciousness band. And so the higher the consciousness level is for those in the collective and then the pods that you belong with and you belong to, the higher vibrational matter form, because it's becoming more and more crystal, it's becoming more and more light, you have to manifest through, because you're a manifesting being as whatever you're manifesting in relationship with. So remember, everything is a relationship. It's the intertanglement, it's the engagement, it's the experience that you have in that catalyst of magnetic pull and force, and it's the quantum marriage, it's the quantum song that you are with spirit. That's the essence of God, and that becomes that inspiration experience. We create dimensional bandwidths, we create dimensional variations, we create dimensional experiences through our consciousness. But how do we do that? Go back to a more core experience. How do I create within my dimension? How do I create within my consciousness? And it is always, always, always creativity. Your alignment with who you are as a creative being, the alignment with who you are to experience, express, and explore who you are as a being of input, output. To know that with intention, direction, and focus, you are that creational being, which means that you're adding to that vibrational bandwidth. And that vibrational bandwidth is your consciousness, with the consciousness that you've chosen to align with, that you are aligned with, that you're choosing to call in. Because again, if we just take, say, portals, for instance, I've done a lot of sacred travels on sacred land, and there will be certain beings and certain consciousness that I'll call in to co-create with, so that I can get the information and the stories from the land, as well as improve and enhance the vibrations of those portals. And because most of them are a lot of sacred sites, and you're there to create in this now moment of the intelligences that are now open in the sacred sites. Because the land, the things that are on the land, the matter that is on the land is ever changing in exact proportion. And so that consciousness is alive and being, because the beings that are in that reality experience are a part of that experience. So again, if you have a collective of beings that are operating in a higher vibrational community, if you will, they're adding incrementally and exponentially in the collective consciousness, because those higher vibrational beings are contributing to the higher vibrational beings, and they're constantly an inspiration of each other. How you inspire greater consciousness, how you inspire more fluid, ecstatic, elastic, eclectic within a bandwidth, is through inspiration and creativity, because that is how we create a source. It is the pure alignment of spirit. That's why When you're offering who you are as a genuine, authentic being, and you are in alignment with spirit, that's how you know in your discernments of whether you're getting a healing, whether you're going into business with somebody, whether you're going to create something. Discernment is always going to be your highest task for you to continually keep that in mind at heart, because you want to make sure that you're aligning with those that are a vibrational match to you. If you're creating something that is of great interest to you, because you want the vibrational alignment to be key. You don't want to be the only one that has the highest vibration and you're carrying 100,000 people that are just awakening or not awakened at all or don't care to be awakened. So spirit is going to ever more align you with those that are of an equal match and those that are equally excited to learn and be in the vibration that you are, as well as reciprocate. So as we're going further and further into our awakening state, that's how there's going to be more and more it's just called a vibrational match. We don't want to say separation because it's not. Those that are just awakening at a slower pace of awakening, slower pace of healing, will be with those that are more equal to that vibration, because they won't necessarily get or take or be able to carry the codes of someone that's really highly awakened in that bandwidth of consciousness. They would be too scattered because their body couldn't process the light because there's so much density to work through. And that's why we've been putting out posts and we've been putting out information about how important it is to do your daily clearing, to every time a wound comes up, to deal with it and face it and clear it and cleanse it, to know how to operate within your multidimensional bodies and clear and cleanse those systems, so that you're keeping on top of your ability to process and the embodiment of light. The embodiment of light is the bandwidth that you sit within the consciousness level. Remember, consciousness and the dimension you sit in is not a place. You know, a consciousness is not a place. It's not a tangible physical thing. You affect that tangible thing by your consciousness. As I said before, everybody, there are 100 people standing before you. Everybody has a different experience of one singular event. But it's because their consciousnesses are varied. Their consciousnesses have different experiences. Their consciousnesses are filled with experiences of dogma, of patterns, of beliefs. Their chakra systems are running at different fluidities of light processing, of light integration, of light expression and expansion. So you can't have those 100 people experiencing the same expression, the same experiences being brought to you. The sending and the receiving of information is based on your consciousness level. And we are vibrational multidimensional beings. We're constantly processing, we're constantly sending and receiving information. And it's really important to know who you are so that you know what information that you're receiving is yours, what information is prints, what information is just, you know, noise in the collective clutter. So it's really important to know who you are and know your vibration, and why we said in our last video that many that are awakening, they're very high vibrational beings, but they've never been taught how to work with their bodies. So many of them, and many people do just the more normal process of awakening, they do, you know, have those fear factors and those triggers to think, oh my God, I'm going crazy. You're not. You're just opening up to your psychic gifts, and you just need to know how to work with your bodies and grounding so that you're clearing out the noise and not anybody else's voices. Because again, there's all those people that like to play in your field and like to, you know, throw you imprints and force their way into your mind and your thought patterns and things like that. And so again, this is really working with your bodies, working with your consciousness field. So your creativity with spirit is your creation only. And that takes a lot of practice. That is, again, working every day. Who are you? What is it that you want to create? What does your spirit's voice sound like? Really, as I've been talking about in my private sessions, is really, and this is what I help people connect with and understand, is how do you connect and speak with your teams? What is your spiritual unique connection? Because that allows you, many things. It allows you to understand who you are as a receiver, how you receive your information, because many of you, again, as we're ascending into 5D, you're opening up into different gifts, skills, and talents. So it's going to feel differently based on, again, your destiny and your purpose. And I've talked about the enormity of what a soul blueprint is and why that should be your only focus. It should never be on anybody outside of you or copying anybody else outside of you, because they simply are just an entirely different planet. They have different experiences, different soul roles that they've had, different healings that they're moving through, different integrations, completely different soul destiny than you have. And so it's really, really important to deal with every single one of the issues and triggers and beliefs that you have about envy, not being enough, competition, all of those experiences. That is a lot to do with the distorted masculine. And really going within and start creating that sense of self. And that sense of self is your creative, genuine, unique offering with spirit. And so that creative offering, as I said, again, that creativity and that infusion of creativity is, it's so funny. I just saw something really funny. The inspiration is how you infuse the vibrational dimension. That changes the dimension in and of itself. Again, the dimension is not a place. It is vibration, it is consciousness, and the information within that dimension. There's many of us that say, I'm entering into the 5D. So there's parts of my consciousness that are, say, 30% at a higher vibrational consciousness that is above 5D. See, right now they're showing me there's aspects of me um, that I'm tapping into, some seventh dimensional aspects of me, because they're parts of my higher self and my guides and my teams, and why I've always said how important it is to work with your teams and work with your guides. Do your evening health sessions. So if you want to book a session with me, vocational alignment sessions, we go through practices that help you understand your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, so that you really get used to working with your teams, calling your teams in for specific things that you want to work on. But again, know that your higher self and your teams and your soul will always move you through what is most important. Because what you think is most important is not what is most important in the overall plan, because you simply do not know multidimensional healing. It's the ego that wants things, and your teams will show you right away that that's not the most important. Most often than not, when you're first awakening, what you want to experience and what you think is most important is not necessarily parallel with your teams. It's always going to be the healing and the clearing and the accepting of what you've chosen. Those are the seals of who you are, is your promises to you. That is the soul blueprint. And every time you awaken a seal, that means that you've connected through acceptance, acknowledgement of who you are as source with source, your divine excitement of who you are with source as source. Because when you begin to accept and acknowledge who you are as a unique being of spirit, you begin to accept your creative role within creation. And that's life altering. And we've written about that in every one of our books. And so it's copyright caveat. And I help you work on those unique offerings, the vocational alignment sessions, how you connect with source. That's why none of our sessions ever talk about somebody else. If we do talk about somebody else, it's to clear the energy and the wounding of what's occurred between certain soul members and planetary experiences. We don't talk about any superficial things about focusing your energy on anybody else, because it's always about you, always. So always, again, discern any healer or teacher or leader that, or anybody, they wouldn't, because the journey is about you, your self-growth, your self-love, your self-journey. So discern any readers that focus on anybody outside of you. Like, what are they thinking of you, or you versus them? I would not, I wouldn't read any of those and watch any of those videos. They're everywhere in the tarot community, but that's not the purpose of self-growth. It's not the purpose of ascension, is to focus on what other people think about you, or you versus them. We're releasing everything to do about competition. If you're in a true soulmate experience, and that is a nice to have down the road, because you always know spirit will always bless you with love. It's just a given. You don't even have to think about it or intend it. But that's always a given in your process of self-exploration with spirit, because spirit always wants you to be happy in all of your experiential reciprocity, because it helps you be a more full being by sharing your life force in a sacred way. So that's always a given. You never ever have to seek that out every day. The more that you focus on outer experiences, we said in our video, The Truth About Soulmates and Twin Flames, really watch that video, because it's absolutely truth, and it might trigger some people because they've been so entrained on putting their focus and their intention and their value and how they're valued, and they're seeking without even being healed. And so all that does is just attract people that aren't healed. And that's why so many people are changing their relationship status right now, is because who you were a year ago, who you were 2 years ago, is not who you are now when you're awakening. Especially if you're doing awakening every week, meaning that you're working on your daily focus. Who are you as a body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul? What beliefs and what themes are you working through at a soul level? The more that you start entangling and engaging in that as a self-designing experience, you absolutely know that you're a creative being with source. And then you start participating in the dimensional creation. You start becoming more intimate with who you are as a creator. And all that superfluous stuff and superficial stuff just goes away, because it's not the purpose and reason why you're here. You're not here to focus 80% of your time on finding a soulmate. And what are they thinking about you? Who gives a crap what they're thinking about you? If you're thinking about what they're thinking about you, you're not in alignment with you. Your higher self is everything. Your higher self will guide you through all of the divine exploration and discovery about who you are. That is a far richer journey, and you need to know that. You need to navigate that. You need to excavate that. You need to be intimate with that before you ever place yourself before anybody for an offering. So if you haven't had a couple of years to explore who you are, to excavate who you are, to dig up those tough beliefs who you are, if you can't talk about dark nights of the soul and really talk about how many different directions and perspectives you saw it from and why you felt it and why you healed it and why your teams are so happy that you're actually dealing with it and you're actually facing it, and how you're calling things into experience yourself to create higher vibrational choices, because now you're practicing with creation. You're absolutely being a partner in that co-creative reality. You're saying, okay, Spirit, give me another experience. Let me practice this. That is being a creative master. And if you're not at that stage yet, you should be holding back on ever trying to seek anybody else as being that your focus. Because then you're just seeking them for the energy and you're not going within to face your own energy. And so deal with yourself first. You won't find that perfect soulmate and that perfect partner, if you will. It's like you're deflecting what you absolutely need to look at and be with. You need to be with yourself. You need to be with yourself on every level and work through those Jacob ladder levels. Because every dimensional bandwidth, you're giving yourself a new aspect of expansive consciousness. And you want to be able to be rich in that. You don't want to place yourself before somebody and then 6 months later say, oh my gosh, I'm totally not into this, because you find out that richness of you is far deeper, richer, and wider. There's not saying that experience of co-relating with another human is wrong. That's not what we're saying at all. But it's saying that there's so much value and richness within you that humanity has never done before. And it's something that you don't want to miss, and you don't want to rush through. You don't want to think is less than. Right now in our collective, it's slowly turning, and it's going to have a huge wake-up call in the next 3 or 4 months. Massive amounts of humanity is going to be awakening. And that will be the core excitement, is when you wake up every day, what can I explore within myself? And I teach those things. I offer those things. And it is the creative experience that you find yourself within that bandwidth expansion. The more creative you are within yourself and God, that partnership with creation, that partnership with Gaia, that partnership with all spirit, that is called the embodiment of the essence. That is what makes a difference between a preacher standing on stage talking about God, reverberating God from a book, and a healer like myself that comes forward with creative Christic codes and light codes. Because I embody the Christic light. I embody the Christic word. I embody the Christic elements, because I understand energy and how to alchemize and work with it. You can work with it in a negative way, and you can work with it in a positive way. And then there's the neutrality. That's just creation. And there's catalysts and there's equations to everything. God is the equation of all life. So you're the vessel that God has placed with great importance and great responsibility. You're a promotion of the heavens. You're a vessel of the heavens. And if you choose to disregard it and not adhere to universal laws, then you're going to be dealing with those negative consequences. Everything has a return, because it's just the infinity. It's always that one experience. Everything is God. How you manifest with that God source essence, creator essence, prime creator, the essence of all that is. You can harmonize it in a loving and sacred way, which is what we've called the embodiment, the essence that you feel that is God running through you. That is the love that you feel that transforms 6 cells to loving, healthy cells of light. You'll feel the difference. When you connect with that essence of God, you feel it. It's not something we're just saying. And that's the difference between a preacher standing on stage and reverberating the Bible, having no connection with God whatsoever, just speaking the word of the Bible. That doesn't mean anything about the essence of God. The essence of God can be felt. The essence of God is the feeling that vibrates your fingers and creates magic. It's the essence of healing something on your body and clearing densities and hate that's just been impaled on you because of a whole bunch of black magic sent your way. Those are the things that you can clear through the essence and the embodiment of God. That is that thing that keeps you eternally youthful. You can't take it from someone. You can't steal it from someone. You can't clone them with the DNA. That is the malevolent work with God, and those will be shut down, because spirit needs you to go within and remember yourself as God. It's the whole journey. And that's why everybody that has been doing it in the malevolent way, through force, through manipulation, through deceit, through spell work, through voodoo, through practicing of Satan and conjuring of devils, they're great experiences to learn from.
But you'll absolutely see the destruction of your reality. You'll absolutely see the blocking of your abundance and your health and your wealth. If there is not light flowing through your body, everybody that does negative, dark conjuring and satanic conjuring, their bodies will be sick and their mental bodies will be unstable. That's just light. Your body is the essence of God. Every cell requires light. That's why control and fear and dominance are the most negative and harmful energies for the human vessel, for all life. Anything to grow and to expand needs light. That's why when you work with light in a positive and loving way, just with you, if you start doing it on anybody else, again, right use of free will and non-interference. Those are the core values that we offer and we teach. And you'll see as life is your own proof, because you have to go through your own ascension. You have to work with your wounding. You have to work with why you're choosing what you're choosing. And as everybody knows, spirit is now the hand of God working with everybody that is continuing to abuse power and energy, because it affects the whole planet. You know, the whole planet doesn't need to suffer because there's selfish, ignorant people that think that they're playing God for other people and throwing them spell work 100 times a day. The creative energy is who you are as the embodiment of spirit. So the more that you practice creativity in the various ways that you will, because they showed me that with the creational bandwidths, the dimensional energies that you are, because again, remember, as you expand your consciousness, who you are as the embodiment of God, who you are as the embodiment of light, who you are the embodiment of love, who you are as the embodiment of working with the energies and the essences of all life, you're actually improving. We say improving, you're just nourishing. It's like feeding the dimensional energies within the bandwidth. You get to place yourself within any experience, as we said, remember, similar to the portals that are created. And say I'm getting 30% of the higher realms, 5D to 7D to 12 and 15th, if it depends who I'm channeling. Depends if it's a multiverse channel that's coming through. Because remember, anything that's 7th dimensional and beyond, really, I mean, anything that's 5th dimensional and beyond, there is the meshing of higher vibrations. So the all is the all. You know, it just depends. The higher you go with your consciousness, the higher you're able to align with source, all that source. The more you embody all source, the acceptance of all source, everybody before you is source, acceptance, acknowledgement, and allowance. Those 3 A's allow you to embody source. You won't embody source if you're denying who you are. You won't embody source if you're denying your own creative gifts and copying somebody else. You won't have Christic energy flow through you. You won't have your chakras activated, because your chakras are unique to your Christic gifts. So if you're using somebody else's gifts and calling them yours, and you're practicing on somebody else's things and not yours, and you're not going within to find out what your gifts are and attuning to your own chakras and clearing your own chakras and being inspired by your own spirit, and you're just copying somebody else thinking that's what you've got to do because you want to make things and you want to pretend that you're the best and you want to win at something, you're absolutely denying your entire spirit of its own purpose. And again, your chakras won't open and there's no light embodiment. Therefore, you're not even in alignment with your higher self, because your higher self is constantly asking you to be in alignment with your higher self. And that's why, again, when you're looking in your outer world and you're standing before someone ready to make a choice, what leader do you want to vote for? Are they aligned with their higher self? Is the information I'm getting practical? Can I use this? Is this real for me? Is this tangible for me? Spirit is tangible and intangible. Spirit is physical and mysterious. Spirit is everything and all things. You're the one, through your intention and your desire to be the embodiment with spirit, to be the song with spirit, to be that feeling where your body vibrates and shakes. That is your embodiment with spirit. That's how you know that you are one with your own alchemy. And you get to choose how you clear those traumas, those triggers. That's why you're doing your ascension work is so important. Because anybody standing before you just talking talk, you'll know by vibration, does that feel right or not? You'll know somebody that emits source energy. You'll know it. Their chakras look different. You can see, if you're a seer, their aura feels nice. You feel like you're just attracted to them because you've got so much energy moving through your body and your vessel, and your energy is big because you've done a lot of clearing. The more clearing that you do, the bigger aura you carry. Your aura actually gets bigger. You start carrying the higher giants, the 8-foot, the 10-foot, the 20-foot giants, the masters. That's how energy works, because as that higher vibrational aspect of you comes down to meet the lower aspect, you get another sheath of your own higher selves. That's why your aura gets bigger, because it's a multidimensional experience. It's a multidimensional equation, dear lighted ones. We're not just talking things out of our heads. We're not making this up. This is actual science. It's the science of your light body. It's how light works on all dimensions. Whatever dimension you're in is what you have access to. If you're not doing the clearing, and if you're in those lower vibrational shadows and you're refusing to heal those shadows, you will have a very limited access to the dimensional potential. The more flow and the more light you allow in, the more light that you work with, you're cleansing away the chakras and the multidimensional fields, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual. And your chakras begin to move differently because it's a disk of light. It's a disk of information, just like the planets are. You're a disk of information. So too is everybody before you. That's why you can tune in. What does my chakra say about that? Where's the wounding? Where's the lie? Where's the deceit? Where's the truth? What can we work on? What's a win-win? What's not a win-win? Are they speaking from their higher self? Someone that is not speaking from their higher self, you'll tell it right away. So then move on. The embodiment of source is felt. Absolutely. It affects the chakras. It affects the fields. Sometimes people sweat. When they get around me, they sweat. Because their bodies are releasing. Their bodies are releasing. Sometimes they get tired. Sometimes they start hiccuping. Sometimes they start burping. Sometimes they go to the bathroom. Sometimes they get agitated. They just want to go. They don't understand why they don't want to be around me, because there's things in their fields that are being activated they're not ready to face. And that's okay. But them being in front of me helps 100% nonetheless. And again, oftentimes they won't know the benefit that they've had, but their teams have placed them before you because they can get that activation to get that density moving, because they haven't been heating spirit. They haven't been using creativity. They haven't been using their own inspiration. They've been continuing with the 3D programs and habits and patterns. So people are placed before you for various reasons, depend on, again, that how much of the embodiment in that dimensional bandwidth are you held within. And you can play with that. Play with your dimensional bandwidth. Let's play, be creative. And there'll be beings at every level, like the Jacob's ladder. There'll be beings at every level to help you, inspire you in different ways, because again, your creativity is directly related to many, many things. The activations are primarily, firstly, through the DNA activations, that you have teams. Your specific healing teams, and why, if you're working with negative entities and demons, you're not going to have access to this. You won't get your DNA activated, and you'll work in a negative entropy experience where your body just gets eaten away by negative demons and entities. When you're working in a healthy experience, means that you're dealing with the issues when they come up. You're dealing with the wounds when they come up. You're dealing with your energy. You're not giving your power away to entities. You're not giving your power away to sacrifices. You're not giving your power away to lower fear-based, controlling, dominant programs. Again, our videos have been talking about that to enlighten you and to allow you to discern what programs are asking you to give your power away, what programs are asking you to get fear-based about, overpopulation and enforced mask and all those kind of things. Those are all things that the older programs are asking you to buy in. So to be aware of it, and then turn and redirect and intend your energy differently. Those that are working on and clearing the energies and facing and accepting and acknowledging and working with your shadow, you're meant to work with it. You don't just throw it away and deny it. You work with your shadow to have your shadow ultimately harmonize with who you are as spirit. You have light and you have dark. Everybody does. When you're not healing and you're suppressing and you're denying who you are, as we wrote this morning in one of our community posts in the YouTube page, so go read it because it's very important. I'm going to be doing more about this because it's so deep and it's so wide. It has to do with the Adam Eve project and the Adam Eve Antine particles that are light, and how the distorted masculine and why we've seen so much corruption is because of the lack of expression and the sexual expression and creative expression that the divine masculines have not had for thousands of years, and why they have such extortion experiences with their sexuality, and why LGBTQT, if it was like way back when, a lot of the beginnings of trafficking, a lot of the beginnings of underground corruption and sex parties would have been harmonized in a much more intelligent manner, because they would have understood their multidimensional bodies. They would have been working with those energies and those woundings, because the woundings aren't just from this timeline. Their woundings are from many timelines since the beginning of time. So we have to look at anything that comes up from the all history of being human. Remember, 3D to 5D, 51%. So every single person has 51% to look at the divine feminine masculine energies. What woundings are coming up in every new cycle? Every cycle you could know, and you should know your ascension cycle. When are you going through a purging? And if you start journaling it, and just generally jotting down time, because time is going to be superfluous soon. You're going to be seen when you go through purges, when you go through activations of excitement to seek, of excitement to look into things, of excitement to bring information in and call information in. There's cycles, and I wrote about that in my book. So get my books, and it talks to you about the Ascension cycle and what to kind of look for, how you know that you're connected in your evolutionary cycle. Remember, everyone has a unique pacing and timing. If you're working in the very dark arts, you're not going to have the DNA activations. Those DNA activations are pivotal for your creative skills, gifts, and talents. How your DNA gets activated is light. So that's why all of the elites and all of their programs, they have made buy-ins and programs for you to stay in the dark because it serves them, because you're paying them, right? Those little codons there, those little codons right there, they get activated through the light. And how does that light get activated? If you go back to the equation, the light gets activated when that force and that magnetism meet in the middle. The divine masculine, the divine feminine meet in the middle. The will of making change. I choose to change. I choose to heal. I choose to feel better. I choose to go within and love my body. I choose to bring source in this experience. I choose to open up to energy. I choose to have my cells excited. I choose to have my fields excited. I choose to be aligned with spirit. I choose to be aligned with spirit. That is the alchemy. Because you're not just in a monotone experience and nothing's ever happening. No, you're activating, you're infusing creativity. You're infusing that light of who you are. And that light of who you are is your unique imprint. It's your unique, genuine code. It's your unique, genuine, authentic expression. That creative expression is everything to your ascension. You can't copy it and take it from somebody else. You can't switch destinies. You haven't prepared for it. That's why it's so ridiculous. Anybody that has any types of those thoughts or things, their mental bodies are completely not well. Because you don't understand anything about anything to do about ascension. And if you do, working with anybody like that does anything like that, just leave and move away, run away really quick. Because they're the spiritual density and darkness and the spiritual debt that comes along with tapping into anybody's Akasha. We've talked about it a bajillion times before, but just know, run the other way, quick and far. It's not very good at all. Hello, voice. Hello, voice. Hello, darlings. I love you, voice. Haven't seen you in so long. And so just remember that bandwidth of experience that you're moving on is how you infuse that creativity, and that creative expression is exactly how you activate the embodiment of source, the embodiment of light. So that's going to be really important to explore the dimensional bandwidth that you're meant to be within, that you're meant to soak within and start navigating within. That's how you stretch out the essence of time. You can play with time if you want by stretching out and stopping time, so you can fall within that creative experience a little bit more. So just know that that's that presence of source. That's the embodiment of source. And not everybody is, not everybody that speaks about ascension, not everybody that is in the enlightenment community, not everybody that speaks about God, creator, understanding the essence of source, that is the embodiment and the essence. And it is only activated through your creative oneness as spirit, the embodiment of the essence. If you want to feel God, it is the essence. It is the creative oneness of spirit. Thank you. I love you, voice. I love you so very much. I miss you guys. I have so many wonderful activations, and I would love to do, I would love. And so, because we're going through these beautiful dimensional shifts that are coming up, right? So these dimensional shifts, you're going to be, as the teams and the guides and the systems of light were showing me, your gifts and your skills and your talents, remember the vocational alignment sessions that I offer, they help you align with the essence and the embodiment of who you are as source, getting into who you are as source and expanding that bandwidth of dimension. When you do that, they showed me it's equally activated through the DNA, and as it's activated through the DNA, it's the multiverse systems that you have within you, the chakras, the body of light, the cells, all that you are is matter, because your matter is exactly equal to the spirit embodiment that you so choose and you infuse and you work with. It's a now experience of you and source, you and source, you and source. And that's how spontaneous remission occurs. That's how healing of your cells occurs. That's how lengthening the telomeres occurs. It's your now expansion with source, the embodiment of source that you have. And you can work with it. And there are practices, and I work with those in my classes once a month. If you want to come to my classes once a month, I show you how to be the embodiment so that you begin feeling source work with you and as you and through you. That is the ultimate gift, the eternal life that is source. That's what Jesus and all the masters talked about. That's how you ascend into the light body. That is the Merkaba working with you. The Merkaba is the activation of the motherboard, if you will, of who you are as spirit. That's your essence. It's like your Akashic record. It's very sacred. And as those higher aspects come down, those bigger aspects of the sheaths of you, those higher aspects come down and they offer you more potentiality within the bandwidth. It's all micro, macro. It's all holographic. It's all one. It's all now. And you know that because we've been talking about this every offering that we give you. When you're doing your multi-vibrational ascension work, it is an all now experience. So you're activating the multidimensional systems of who you are, the DNA, your fields are being cleared, you're working with your chakras, you're working with your intentions and your breath work. That is the embodiment that you feel. And then again, systematically at the same time, you're activating the higher aspects and the sheaths, which are like veils of information. They start working within the dimensional bandwidth that you get to play within. That's why, again, only those that have prepared themselves get to experience that experience. And why sometimes when I speak in front of people, I speak based on the collective bandwidth of what is being operated. The teams are going to be moving me to different categories of people, because I also need to tap into higher vibrational information to bring it down, because the collective is also increasing and enhancing. So the bandwidths of everybody is moving and shifting and changing. So I have to also align with higher vibrational information to feed it out to the collective that is always at different variations of dimensional understanding. So that is how a multidimensional awakening kind of moves and feels through your consciousness. If you're working with creativity, you'll always know that you're going to be keeping up with, if you will, the potentials that you have within that dimensional bandwidth. So creative expression, as we've said for years now, is one of the most important tools, attributes that you have. And our sessions and our classes help you work with how to inspire, how to play. That's the sacred child alignment. The sacred child alignment is the chakras, solar plexus, sacral, root chakra, and you're pulling that information from the higher chakras. And then you're working with the earth chakra because you absolutely want to be playing with the biosphere. All of that working together in tandem, and you'll be able to feel it multidimensionally. This is what I teach and this is what I offer, because you're an embodiment of Source. You can't become enlightened in your embodiment with Source if you're simply just learning, but you're not doing the activities. Remember, behaving 5D is not behaving 3D. You need to take your bodies and your fields and your thoughts, that divine mind, the divine mind of God, the divine mind of the Creator, up to those higher levels so that you can begin feeling your environment and your dimension as an expanded experience of creative space. That's what that is. Dimensional experience is that creative playing time, that creative codes, the creative light that those higher sheaths of you offer, as well as the collective offers those creative sheaths. The biosphere offers those creative sheaths. That's why conduits like myself and seers and prophets like myself, we can tap into and we can be in front of a body of water like I am now. That's why I always come to the beach to do these live shows, is because there's so much care and love coming off of the waters and the land and the nature. So you activate more of your multidimensionality, your essence with Source, your embodiment with Source. That's how you begin feeling alive in your chakras and your energy and your skin and your everything feels alive. That's the essence of Source. That's when you can tell someone that is just speaking something but not absolutely living in that embodiment. It's a vibrational essence. It's a vibrational offering. It's a vibrational gift. There's vibrational codes. Your DNA is activated. If my DNA is activated, I'll offer codes for others' DNA to be activated, because that's the agreement. That is how oneness works. That's how unity works. That's how 5D Earth works. We affect each other. So that's why when you're operating and intending and asking for and exciting and creating that oneness in your homes and in your communities, you're offering a higher vibrational potential for those to also level up. So that's why, again, it is always good to have your discernment, to know what your role is, what is your part in that transaction, and then to know when to move on and get in those vibrational spaces, if you will, that also inspire you, because you're always meant to keep moving up the Jacob's ladder, those vibrational discs, if you will, of information and sheaths that will be offered to you, because it's all light. Nothing can grow without light. Light. Just see if there's any light ships. Did you guys see the light ships in our last video? Wasn't it cool? The light ship that was right here. It was fun. They always do. I don't know. I never ever see these things until after I watch the video, so it's kind of cool. And so I hope I've explained dimensional bandwidth, because You don't necessarily have to know that, but just know that because everybody's at a different vibrational experience of their consciousness, everyone comes with different pacing and different temperament. If they are not working through the wounding, if they're not working through the divine feminine masculine themes that their soul has chosen to work on for their lineage, for their family, and for their collective, and for Gaia, because remember, it's always a sacred trinity. If you're not connecting with that and releasing them, and you're not aware of your ascension path work, then the light cannot get through to those places where those activations can take place. And you want to be activated in your creativity. That is how you create those dimensions and those timelines that are not the matrix. That's how you step out of the matrix. So use that as your highest tool. Your creative expression, your creative toolkit, your Christic toolkit is how you step out of the matrix. And you call it in with the light, and you play with the light, and you embody with the light. It's that partnership. That creative partnership allows you to experience dimension. You're infinite. You're really infinite. You need nothing outside of you. Your creative potentiality to experience any dimensional bandwidth you want. No matter how high, because again, I'm in a physical body, but I'm more and more crystalline, and I can tap into the higher dimensions by calling it. And it's like a thread, and it comes down because I'm aligned with my higher self. You can tell those that are not aligned with their higher selves because they only have 3D access. They speak of 3D things. That's how come you would know your higher self would never ever tell you to do things that are not aligned with the universal laws. So that's how you can discern what is a matrix experience and what is a higher vibrational experience. So it's up to everybody now to start discerning what feels higher vibrational. Is it aligned with universal law? And are we moving forward in your own co-creation of your timelines? Because you're here to create your timelines through your excitement. That's it. Don't follow anybody else's timeline. That's not your role. Your role is your timeline. Your role is your excitements. Your role is your gift. So you're here to create through your timelines, and you have that experience. That experience is your embodiment with source, your embodiment with spirit. So that's creativity is your toolkit. Your creativity activates. Your creativity is equal to what's in the vibrational dimension. Your creativity is equal to you activating other codes. Your creativity is equal to your healing. It is one of our greatest gifts. So never ever think about, keeping up with anybody else's stuff. That's totally wrong direction, right? Your creative, unique gifts are your creative tools to activate your gifts, your DNA, your fields. That's why you're going to be trusting your spirit when you say, okay, spirit, what's my part in this transaction? Where shall I go? And your spirit guides will guide you based on what you need to be activated on mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or within any part that you're moving through at that time. That's why working with your guides and partnerships are so important, because they help guide you as to what's coming up next. What do we need to work on? When you're working that intimately with your guides, with your teams, you always know that you're on your track. Your track is all you have to worry about, right? Some people right now are on a fast track. That means that they're going to be moving and navigating in and around things, and spirit's going to cut off and really cut things off and help them clear away what needs to be cleared away, because the lessons have been learned. They need to get on with other missions. They need to get on with another council experiences. That's what missions are. Missions are council experiences. And so that is the council experiences is your themes that's what we deal with in our vocational alignment sessions. There's a series of 4 sessions. They help you really tap into, those are specifically aligned for who have you been in 3D, what are you working on as far as your blocks, and then every session we work with, and I show you practices, I show you tips, I show you techniques on how to work with spirit intimately, so you're aligning who you are in that 5th dimensional direction. We start directing your multidimensional systems to your offering with spirit, to your offering with the creative collective, to your offering with the higher temples. I say higher temple is just mean the councils and the teams that you work with, because now we're working with multiverse species. The multiverse species help us align with those way stations of higher vibrational informations on the multiverse level. And those, I usually teach those that have been working with me for a while, because they're advanced teachings. They're not teachings that everybody just, coming in will understand, unless they understand. And they've been working with quantum energy. They understand quantum energy. They understand multiverse, multidimensional experiences. If you're just awakening, the multidimensionality concept is hard for people to wrap their head around. It usually takes about a year. If you're not used to working in the ideas and the concepts and how it feels and how everything is multidimensional, everything before you is multidimensional, everything before you is vibration. How you move as a creative, excited being, the sacred child, the alignment of who you are as multivibrational, the alignment of who you are as spirit, the alignment of who you are as your chakras opening, the alignment of who you are as your skin feeling all tingly and vibrational because you're alive with spirit. That's your responsibility. That's your role. Because that's your unique fingerprint, your genuine authentic expression, your genuine authentic code, if you will. That's the imprint that is equal to, again, as we said earlier, your DNA, the Christic water body, your themes and ideas and notions that you had to choose to take out and transmute for the collective, for your lineage, for your family, because we're not going to return back to 3D. Ascension is ascension. We can't go back. So every time you have a wounding about judgment, every time you have a wounding about sexuality, every time you have a wounding about suppressing divine feminine, anytime those woundings are coming up, they're there for you to heal for the collective. Because divine feminine has been suppressed for thousands of years, as we talked about in our Adam Eve project. That is humanity's primary healing that the Pleiadians gave me about 2 years ago. So go back to my videos. I think it's in my Ascension playlist. And that has everything to do with what's unfolding now as far as the corruption, because most of it is divine masculine distortions. And what do we represent as the Father? What has the Father been, and how has it been distorted? How is the energies, how is the imprints, how have all the lineages? I mean, even back to the Christ, the crucifixion of the Christ. The crucifixion of the Christ was the discrimination of his exploration and his expression of source creator. And he had brought himself into many discriminations because those of the powers of the elites did not appreciate, because it wasn't in alignment with what their understandings were. So there was no freedom of speech. That's what Jesus was crucified for. He spoke out in knowing of what he knew about source, because he was a master. He was on another dimensional plane. They only were looking at it from a very low vibrational 3D plane. They were looking at it from the sacred texts from Abraham. And Abraham was a master as Jesus was. So Abraham knew that Jesus was going to be coming into the future, if you will, from when Abraham was. Abraham was preparing the world for Jesus. He was a master that saw, as I do, higher vibrational experiences. I'm a conduit. That's what conduits do. We read fields. We read dimensions. We read God's plan. God doesn't say, here, Joanna, here's the plan. God gives me what I'm ever given at any moment. If God shows me something corruptive happening in the collective, I do a piece on it. Because it's directly related to what we are healing as a collective, to what the divine masculines are healing, to what the divine feminines need to look at and stand up and take claim on. We need to claim our voices. We need to claim our power. We need to claim back our energies. Remember, as the divine masculines are working on something, divine feminines are also working on something. That's how the collective perpetuates eternal movement forward in ascension. There's going to be that threaded pearl. Everyone expanding their consciousness helps everybody else expanding their consciousness. The more that you tap into who you are, what you exist within, and what exists within you, that's the holographic perspective, as above, so below, as within, so without. You're expanding the bandwidth that you exist within. And the more creative you are, the more you're expanding your gifts and activating your gifts in the ways that you choose to, because remember, it's you and God. It's your path with God. It's your path with the Creator. And your teams are going to keep pushing you to go deeper, go wider, go higher and better, if you will, based on what excites you as the sacred child that you are. And again, we're just tapping into gifts and preparing the lands for the children. Their skills are going to be, again, a whole new generation of creativity. That's why it's really, 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 really important that we step out of the matrix, because the matrix programs and agendas are to keep you numb, dumb, and silent. You're meant to be accessing as much light, working with light in every moment that you can. Do your affirmations, call in light, clear your chakras, know your ascension cycle, so that you can be a part of whatever timeline you want to be on. You don't need to be a part of any 3D matrix timeline. You're owning who you are as the consciousness of source. You're now becoming a jurisdiction of the heavens. You're not a jurisdiction of any 3D template. You're a jurisdiction of the heavens, and God will align you. God will make sure there's always something before you. God will make sure that you're safe and protected. But you have to match it. You have to step first. And that's how the free will works. So as long as you're moving in the universal laws, and as long as you're doing your part, absolutely you're becoming a part of new timelines. You're out of the matrix. So don't buy into what you're being sold and fed. That's why it's important to tap into, what does embodiment feel like? What does the Christ feel like? It has nothing to do with religion. If you have things that are triggered by religion, if you have suppressions that are triggered by religion, and if those that are standing before you just speak the Bible but don't have that embodiment experience because they're not fluid in light, you can absolutely tell. When a vessel is shut down, a vessel is shut down. There's no light flowing through the chakras. There's no light flowing through the blood. There's no light flowing through the heart. The heart cannot be felt. Those that are fully activated, you'll have those that cry. You'll have those that cry before those that are fully activated in their multidimensional bodies of light. In their multidimensional bodies of light. They are balanced with their divine feminine. They're balanced with their divine masculine. Their bodies are operating and processing high vibrational light. The codes are pure and sacred. It's exciting to be in activation. It's exciting to be aligned. It's exciting to have your chakras open. It's exciting to be aligned. And you aligned with you and your higher self. That's it. The focus is with you. The focus is within. The focus is your creativity and what you're able to manifest and co-create. Manifesting in 3D is not like manifesting in 5D. The richness of spirit is how you manifest in 5D. So you can throw away all the $1 billion of books of the $1 billion business that was the manifesting era in our last 20 years. Manifesting at 5D is not manifesting. 5D is this richness of spirit. That's how you manifest. And to be rich in spirit, it's working with your multidimensional bodies. It's getting used to inspiring yourself with breath, inspiring yourself with affirmations, inspiring yourself with light, working with light in the creative ways that you are being shown and offered and helped with. So that is how you open your chakras. That is how you heal those deep wounds. And it won't be comfortable because those that have just awakened, those that are coming out of really deep, dogmatic, abusive experiences, there's going to be a lot of clearing that has to be done, but you allowing it again is how you release that density and facing it. If you have been suppressing your sexual preference, as much of the divine masculines have been taught misguidance, they've been taught undervalued experiences about who they are as a multidimensional vibrational being, it's going to be it's very, very exciting for them to really tap into their creative divine feminine energies and walk through periods of sexual confusion, because their multidimensional bodies and their divine masculine and feminine energies are completely out of whack, and has been for thousands and thousands of years. And why we have seen the corruption that we have, as the masters just showed me, it is directly related to the Adam-Eve project, which is humanity's core wounds. And that is again why Jesus was persecuted. It was discrimination of his voice and his expression of who he knew, whose source, God, creation, humanity to be, of light. How to work with light, how to ascend in light, how to transmute anything in light. And those of the elite at the time didn't like what he was saying, and they wanted to squash him. And again, because he was multidimensional and spoke of things that people didn't understand, they thought that just persecuting him and crucifying him was enough to get rid of him. No, his vibration stands today. That's what being multidimensional is. That's why, again, if you understand ideas about how the abuse of energy, black magic, human testing, the 3D programs and agendas that have been done by the elites, if you understand what multiverse creation reality is, if you understand your multidimensional bodies, you would never ever be a part of that, because it doesn't go anywhere but utter destruction. If you're not working with light, your chakras won't turn and you won't activate any of your gifts. You won't activate any of your skills. You won't activate any of your talents. You will have a sick, diseased body, period. Working with light allows you to open up to health and abundance and youthfulness. That's what Jesus taught, the eternal life. It has nothing to do with religion, as all of you know that watch this channel. That's my caveat. Nothing to do with religion. Religion was a commodity that was boxed around masters that came here. Just like Buddha. Buddha was a master, same as Jesus. They talked about the multidimensionality of who we are as spirit, period. It has nothing to do with religion. Religions wrapped those masters around a product of a selling of a thing that they could define as a word or a definition. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no judgment on it. Those are the truths of energy. Their masters talking about the multidimensionality of who you are as spirit. You're an eternal being with spirit, God, the creator. The more that you work with the creator, the more that you partner with the creator, the more that you embody yourself with the creator, just like the DNA strand, as you're partnering and entwining and being intimate with God on every part that you are, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that's when you start feeling the happiness and the joy of life. Your aura just lights up. Your chakras light up. You want to take deeper breaths and you feel the alignment. That's working with light. That's God. And that's where we have to change through our collective understanding, our collective knowing is what leaders are before us and why. What have we bought into? Why have we believed God to be so limited and non-active? The God that is taught in churches is non-active. And I say that for the very reason. Nowhere in church and nowhere in our 3D reality do we ever talk about the multidimensionality of who we are as conscious, divine, eternal beings. And that's been done very purposefully. And now everybody is finding that out because the unveiling of the corruption of these programs and why they've done so is absolutely showing you what timeline are you going to create? What timeline do you actually want to be on? Being multidimensional, and if the churches if they were smart, these churches would begin to speak on the multidimensionality so that they can absolutely start doing the greater good for their patrons and keep the word of God and keep the prayers. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. But they've missed and omitted the absolute only thing that can get you through ascension. Your chakras, your multidimensional bodies, how to work with the embodiment of God, how to understand who you are, how to know that you have a Merkaba. The Merkaba is talked about a couple of times in the Bible. Why is that a thing? Why is divine feminine rarely mentioned? And that's how distorted through time that we've been, and that's why there is the corruption there is. Because there's no balance. There is no balance at all on our planet, and it is being rebalanced now. The top are made bottom, and the bottom are made top. Because we've done the work. We understand multidimensionality. That is how we will ascend. Period. You're not going to ascend by another Trump in order. Or whatever other world leader that is working with their agendas for resources and jobs. You won't ascend through those 3D agendas. They won't. They're not aligned with their higher selves. So people have to take a really big look at who they are, if they so choose, as God said. Who are you? You have to choose right now what part of the timelines, what part of Earth, what Earth do you want to be on? Every day, go within and do your ascension pathwork. Now, my book number 2 is about ascension pathwork. The ascension pathwork is what are your ascension cycles? You know, give your body time and space when you're going through a purging, a dark night of the soul. And the more that you ascend, remember, every time you go through a dimensional up level, when you've just cleared a whole bunch of stuff, that next dimensional up level, you know that it's going to be another level of the dark night of the soul, which means the demons, if you will, are going to be more abrasive. Because you've earned more gifts, you've earned more skills on how to navigate energy. You're in charge of your emotional body. You're not flying off the handle. So that's why mastery takes as long as it does. That's why nobody can jump, nobody can switch destiny. I mean, all the ridiculousness. when you understand creational reality, when you understand your multidimensional bodies, when you understand what I've been talking about on my channel, you would never ever go into any arenas that has been brought up and that people do. Your ability to take on the dark night of the soul is because you've been doing the work. When a demon faces you, when a fear faces you, it's just your consciousness. Remember, everything in that bandwidth is your consciousness and the collective consciousness. Empaths and conduits like myself, we transmute for the collective. That's why we go through sacrifices, meaning that the collective and God and the systems above and the karma board, there's more to it than we say. And this is why soul blueprint discussions are a whole video in and of itself, because this one topic can be an entire video. One-dimensional dark night of the soul, if you're a leader, if you're going to be a 5D leader, because you're there as a master, you've had many experiences, you're doing many things on different realms, you're a conduit, you're working with the grids, you're a healer, you're a teacher, you're many different things. That experience of that bandwidth for the collective, because you're there as a representative not only of the heavens, but as the collective leader, because you're the shower of the way. You have to go through initiations, sacrifices, so that you're going through the darkest of the darkest. You have to know how to alchemize. You have to know how to navigate the demons. What humanity has created, there's nothing to be afraid of demons. It's not anything. They're just pockets of experience the collective had created through surrendering their power and their will and their energy to the elites, the Illuminatis, or the whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter what word you call them. It doesn't matter. Those are those little baskets of energy that people feed into. So if you feed into it, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So don't feed into it. Face it, acknowledge it, say, okay, I get that. Okay, where is that with me, with my family? Where is that with me, with my children? Where is that with me, with my partners? It's showing you something, so face it. Those of us that are conduits, healers, and leaders, we are taking the sacrifices for, not that it's not going to come up again for others in the collective, because the others in the collective have to go through their initiations with their fears and the demons, if you will. They're just words we use. It's not a, it's just like a grocery store. It's like taking the chocolate ding dongs or taking a healthy granola bar. That's all that is. It just comes in a different wrapper. It's a belief. They're beliefs that the collective have believed in. And because you're a powerful light worker, because you understand alchemy, because you understand your multidimensional systems, you can just transmute that energy. And it's going to keep showing itself to you. It's going to keep showing itself to you. It's going to keep bringing itself and knocking you in the head. And you're going to knock your head on the wall until you absolutely face it. Because it's meant to be a part of your journey. You are there to teach that. You are there to teach how to transcend the devil. You are there to teach how to transmute that devil. It's not a thing. It's not a being. There are some dark beings that do show up in energy, and I've shared some of those experiences with you. But it's just because an entity has been sent to you of that dark intention. When people do negative spell work and conjuring, that energy goes right back to them because you're saying, no, I don't want to play with you. Bye. Thanks for the recognition. So again, it's all source. You don't have to be afraid of it. Say, oh, hi, how you doing? And it wants you to be open enough so it can feed into and start feeding off your energy. But if you know how to work with your systems, you know how to work with your bodies, you know how to work your fields, you don't allow that energy in. So again, it's reclaiming your power, reclaiming your light, reclaiming who you are as a multi-vibrational being. Just like the ones that are out in the field and out in the collective that are feeding you certain program agendas. They have agendas. There's a lot of money behind those agendas, and all of those agendas are corrupt. Because it feeds the underground belly, the cesspool of the entities and demons that are attached. And they get attached when you go to those underground experiences, like sex parties and orgies and all those things. And very elite people are paying a lot of money for that stuff. That's where the demons reside. Because you're paying for it. You're selling parts of your soul. And when you sell parts of your soul, you're giving permission to those demons and entities to be attached to you. And they're going to stay attached to you until you get the lesson. Why did I choose to give my power away? Why did I choose to think that my body was not important enough? And I sold it because I wanted to have a bidding number on a pyramid pool. I wanted to sacrifice somebody because I wanted the importance. So that entity will stay attached to your body, whether it's a chakra, whether it's your tissues, whether it's your mental body, whether it's your mental field, whether you're going mentally crazy, wherever that entity is, because you chose to be mentally abusive and not accepting of yourself mentally or another mentally. So if you do a lot of control work and want to control somebody, and you've done a lot of spell work to try and control somebody, a lot of the programs that are out there do, it's all about controlling where your money goes, where your power goes, where your choice goes, where your energy goes. If you have done, as a spellcaster, lots of manipulation to have somebody come to you and you want to manipulate their mind space, you want to manipulate whatever's going on, that's a mental body entity. You will have that entity and that demon attachment. And if you're doing sexual orgies to even do it even more so, you're going to also have a demon attachment to the sacral and the root. And that will probably be STDs that will manifest in the physical, or it'll actually be an other reproductive disease. Because you've allowed access. You're trying to suppress somebody else, so then that suppression comes right back to you. Because remember, what you intend to do to another is what you're doing to yourself, because you're not allowing yourself full acceptance. You're not allowing yourself to see that wound. And that demon is going to keep facing you and facing you and facing you, whether it's little bumps on your body, whether your dick gets sick, or whether your urine is bad. That will keep showing it to you until you face that demon. Until you say, why did I think I had to sell my body to feel important when that was absolutely the devil way to go? And you learn very good lessons by the devil, because the devil wants to feel superficially important. The devil wants to feel superficially fed. But the soul knows that you're far more than that. The soul says you don't need that. The whole world of pornography, why was that created? Again, the distortions of divine masculine. And because divine feminine were seen as non-existent. And we're seen as objects and toys and pornography experiences. And why the collective wording and the collective obsession with finding a soulmate is so imbalanced. So we're really waking up to new vibrations of morals and values. When you're going through the process of awakening, you've been on that path for a while, you're going to start to feel the prefrontal cortex, which is another profound activation of being multidimensional that you'll feel. You'll feel it. When you have a multidimensional activation, it begins in the DNA, it begins on the codon. Little part there, and it gets bathed with light. God says, okay, you're ready. You've learned the lessons. You've known that you've done your observation. You've done your reflection. You've seen it from different points of view. You've seen it from different perspectives. You've been the victim. You've been the perpetrator. You've seen it from all levels. You've acknowledged the dark and you've acknowledged the light. You've acknowledged how it's affected your body. You acknowledge how it's affected your mind and your body and your soul. You've acknowledged the fact that you've harmed another person. You have to acknowledge all those things, and Spirit says, okay, you're ready. Your teams, and I didn't mention this before, but it's really important. It's super, super fun and exciting. Your teams, you have teams with you. You have celestial teams that are higher versions of you in the various dimensions that you belong with. And again, I'm going to do another video about soul blueprints because it's a fascinating experience. Anybody that wants to join me on a class of soul blueprints, they're so fascinating. It shows you the importance and the love that you are within all creation and all the teams and the councils that you belong with, and it gives you some insight as to what your excitements are here. And you'll be awoken in those classes, because every time that I offer these experiences, you go away and those codes and those informations are in your field. And then when you go to sleep and a week later, 2 weeks later, you're going back on your notes and you're doing journaling and you're waking up in the morning, you're doing your journaling, you're doing your ascension work. You're going to be activated more and more in the more times that you watch our videos and you attend our classes, because again, it's cumulative. You're participating with intention and direction and focus on your own multidimensional experience with creation, your embodiment with spirit as spirit, your participation with spirit as spirit, your partnership with spirit and spirit, your cells are spirit, everything matter is spirit. The more that you do that, you're becoming a cumulative experience with spirit. Your dimension gets bigger and better. Your dimension gets more exciting and more infused. That's where you lose focus of everything else around you and you begin that honor and self-loving path within yourself. That's how you activate greater youthfulness. That's how you activate releasing diseases, because you've actually fallen in love with yourself again. You've shown creation that you are a valuable being, that your vessel is sacred, that your body is sacred, that your life force is sacred, and you would never ever sell it. There's no amount of money that is worth the value of your life force. And when you're aligned in that, and you know what your gifts are, and you know why you're here, and you know what your most excitements are, you're coming forward the most highest vibration of your light, and you become that everything you touch turns to gold. And anything that comes out of your spirit's constantly flowing inspirational ideas for you, for that leveling up of those bandwidths, of those ever expanding dimensional codes that are in those pockets of excitement. Because remember, the more aligned you are with spirit, the higher access to potential that you have. I say potential, it's intelligence, it's light intelligence. There's no intelligence in dark. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just like a dark pit. There's no light in it. The higher aligned you are, you're aligning with higher vibrational wisdoms and intelligence. Then you bring it down to the physical, and then you infuse it and create with it. And even those that try to copy your high vibrational stuff, they can't manifest anything with it. They won't manifest abundance with it, because they're not flowing in equal vibration. It's not a vibrational match. You become abundant when you're in a vibrational match. If you look at reality today, those that create from the underworld have bodies of the underworld, and they will have health of the underworld. That's the vibration they chose. Everything can be healed. These are the truths of energy. There's no judgment in any of it. These are the truths of energy. If you choose to operate in the underworld and sell bodies and traffic bodies and live through sex parties and that, you're saying that your life force has no value. Your body has no value. Therefore, you've intended and you've told your cells, your brain, the length of your telomeres, you've given imbalance to your mental body, you've given imbalance to the physical, the emotional, and spiritual. You do not have access to your higher self, because your higher self would never tell you to go through with those things. Your higher self loves you. Your higher self will say, that's not going to serve you. You're going to be open to entity attachment if you do that. There's nothing wrong with polyamorous experiences if you are all agreeing and you're all on the same level of awakening. If all of you are on different levels of awakening, and there's some that do this and some that do that, you're opening yourself to the exact experience of the lowest vibrational person and the highest vibrational person. And then you're sharing whatever is going on within that circle. So if one of them has an entity attachment, that is shared between all of them. And it will manifest in a disease or an STD. Or mental, emotional, spiritual imbalance. Because that's what you all have chosen. There's nothing wrong with it, but everybody must be responsible. And if you're not responsible, then again, you're going to manifest the irresponsibility. Again, you're the creator of your reality. You can't go anywhere and hide. You have to face you. And everything will show itself to you until you face you. Anybody that you've hurt, anybody that you've harmed, anybody you've tried to control, anybody you tried to manipulate, anybody that you try to disease, that is the narcissistic society that we are living in. Why? Because of the distortions of the divine masculine. The divine feminine is not healed within them. The divine masculine is not even healed within them. And they've been suppressed for eons, just as divine feminine has been suppressed for eons. Now, divine feminine is coming forward to start healing the planet, because that's what's needed. The intuitive nurturance of the planet. The intuitive leadership of the planet. To lead a collective in healthy, loving, vibrational ways that's in alignment with the light systems, that's aligned with first contact, that's in alignment with the higher vibrational realms. It must be intuitive. There shouldn't be any leader that is leading the people in sacred land if they're not aligned with the systems of light, with evolutionary light programs. If they're not aligned with their higher self, they shouldn't be leading. Period. They're just leading from corrupt 3D agendas that are, if you look, anyways, go to the videos that we've got on our channel. We were going to go back to that part, Spirit. Take me back to that really important. Oh, yeah. That's the exciting part. So the really exciting part is, because I love to talk about this and I love to think about this. It's so out there. Everybody open their hearts. We're going to go out there. We're going to go out there. We're going to go out there. And just know that you have guides, you have teams, you have beings that are specifically assigned to you. Because they're higher aspects of you, they're higher vibrational beings of you, they're from whatever planet that you need, and as you move up in those vibrational dimensions, you're going to get new teams, remember? Because you want to be expanded and activated and touched in vibrational ways, and multi-vibrational ways that's going to expand who you are as a being. Because remember, you're connected with all of those higher vibrational beings, so they want to ascend and expand too. So if you're being stuck at a certain level, you're that pearl threaded and you're holding everybody back. So that's why Ascension is so very key and why you have guides. So what they showed me is that everybody has a specific genetic specialist on their team. And that genetic specialist is there for and this is why you never override your teams and your guides, unless you free will and you want to go in a negative direction. And your guides will step back and allow you to have those experiences. Because you've not listened to and heeded Spirit's guidance, and you won't have protection. We talked about that before. But your teams and your guides are there to elevate who you are as a multi-vibrational being. Because remember, you affect them and they affect you. They're higher versions of you and they want the highest and best for you. They want you to come along for the ride. They want you to go in self-love. Self-love is how you activate God. Self-love is how you activate the harmonization of all that you are as multidimensional light. So you have teams and beings, and they all work in different ways. Again, going back to the soul blueprint. So go back to my video on soul blueprints. That's a very introductory. I talk about soul blueprints every single time I come on because it's everything. That's how you get to understand, wow, you never question what's in front of you. You never want to force anything. You would never want to manipulate. You would never want to do sacrifices. You get what's happening before you. That's when you wake up. That's when you see the holographic experience before you. That's when you absolutely say, okay, well, that's a matrix experience. That's holographic. I'm going to go this way. You get to choose your reality when you wake up into those experiences. And they're very tangibly real because that's the alchemy. That's the God within you saying, hey, you're God. Wake up. Let's do something different. That's the alignment of saying, I'm going to choose this now. I'm going to choose that now. That's your conscious creator. So you have teams and guides that work with you in different ways. And you do have one that is specific to genetics. Who you are, what's with your DNA. Remember, your higher vibrational teams can see you. They know your operation multidimensionally. So what they're showing me is like it's like a crystal, okay, it's like this. It's like this on a crystal board, like a computer board, but it's just like a flat thing, right? Because they're on light ships, right? They're in like ethereal dimensions. 7th and 8th and 9th dimensions are not physical. It's all quasi-physical. It's all just light. It's all movement of air and light and song. So they see that as you. They see you as the Merkaba. They're looking at you just as I am a seer, and when I'm in front of people come to me for healings or clearings. I see in a different way that's not seen. It's the God imprint that I have. I'm giving it to you from another perspective. A 7th dimensional being that is your team guide, they will look at you and they will see the inside, and they will see next to it is the maximized DNA. They know, because they're your guide, what you're working on. They have the 7th dimensional perspective of your DNA. They have the 7th dimensional perspective of your soul's pod, who you belong with, who belongs with you. The teams and councils that you work with on other dimensions, other realms, other planets, other grids, other aspects of space, other sectors of space, other light ships, other teams, other species. programs now, programs not now. They're in connection with the multiverse. They're in connection with all the various programs that you're working on, that you're planned to work on, that you're excited to work with. Past, present, future, it's all now, because 5D, it's all now. We only see 3D because it's how we get to understand our reality. That's why we have time. It's just to understand our reality. So 5D and above, there is no time. It's all now. Your teams know that, and they can see a picture of, okay, where's the DNA at? What do we need to inspire them? What can we help put in front of them? How can we help activate them? How can we help inspire them so they move on their path of self-actualization, of ascension, of embodying light, of embodying their highest and their best, so that we can activate that DNA? That genetic specialist will say, okay, well, there's a problem here, because why we have specialized beings in DNA, because they're in charge of multiverse genetic programs, because we've had thousands and thousands of years of degrading systems, harmful systems that affect the DNA. And again, if you're working with negative, satanic, ritual, dark magic, black magic, occult, negative, and you're not paying attention to universal laws, the universal laws are there for a reason, because it allows you to be always in your highest and your best, and activating whatever needs to be. Your guides are there to help you and inspire you and enhance you. There's a system, again, the dimensional profundity of everything that you are, and the beautiful design and the mechanisms that are multidimensional, the mechanisms of why things happen, who's with whom, and how you're with the beings and the teams that you're with. All the superficial small stuff just goes away, because you, in the encompassment of who you are as a multidimensional being, is so much more vast and profound and dynamic. And why it's really important that you focus on your multidimensional health and wellness, and focus on your healing systems, focus on your teams, be participatory with your teams, because your teams want you to move along in your path. I mean, how many towers do you need before you recognize that you're going in the direction that's not meant for you? That's why you have tower moments. They're not meant for you. Tower moments can be very good because you're being activated in new ways. Tower moments can be good because you're being inspired in new ways. But those tower moments are often there for, okay, you're not meant to be here, move. If you have constant issues or problems with the house, you're not meant to be there, move. If you're constantly having health problems, move. There's something in your environment that's not meant to be there. Your teams are doing the best they can, but you actually have to tune in. So when you're tuning into who you are as multidimensional, you can then take more heed and start navigating in a profound way. So again, you have these geneticists that are there with you to help you in the ideas of who you are as a beautiful being of light. They're there to help you understand. And if you want to, I always say your health meetings at night, they're really good to work with, because it gets you tapped in and tuned into who you are as a vibrational being, the micro macro level. And your teams help you tune into that. If you're a seer, you'll help have things activated so that you can see your health and your wellness and your cells and your DNA, all the things that you need to see. Sometimes if you're going to be a healer, you can actually practice your third eye so that you can practice healing from within your own body. Put your consciousness right in the center of a cell and start healing that cell. Start practicing with the telomeres lengthening, so that you don't have, dementia and degradation of the brain functioning, which is really rampant on this planet. And why is because we've been so suppressed. Again, you'll see the correlation. You'll see the correlation in everything. The physical maladies, the physical diseases, the physical dysfunctions, the physical imbalances is directly everything related to where the core wound is at a vibrational level. What patterns, what habits, and what experiences did you suppress? Did you buy into? Did you believe in? That's where the core energy of disease begins. And again, if you're not working with your multidimensional bodies, as I said, crime, violence, disease is unnecessary. Everything can be healed with what I'm teaching. And that's why it's so profound. And it's only taught through me. And that's God's plan, because I'm a master. And I'm a conduit. I can see, I can feel, I can hear, I can know, I can sense, and I am here to help people also know that. And there's a difference why when you feel and when you connect and when you live from that space of embodiment, it's the difference between having somebody preach from a Bible and having somebody absolutely activate multidimensionally. There's a difference. It's a difference between alchemy and just listening to someone talk. Alchemy is multi-vibrational essence of God. Okay, and so the essence dudes, the ones that you have on your team that are working with your DNA, whatever it is that you're working with health-wise, because your health is equally as your ascension. Because your body is more carbon right now than it is light. Your working with light creates the less carbon, more light. And that's the DNA shifts, that's the cell shifts, that's your thinking, that's your behavior, that's your light, that's your aura. You become more light, you become more free, you become more open, you're aligned with new timelines, you're totally stepping out of them. You don't even know what the matrix is, and you don't even understand that anymore. You're just in a totally different realm because you're way up here. You know, it's how you activate as being this beautiful celestial being. So your DNA, you have those specialists that are there with you in the DNA, because again, there's so many of the 3D things that have harmed our DNA and suppressed our DNA. Creativity pops that open. So your creative expression, how you infuse creativity, how you infuse excitement, how you get that big energy going. Tune into some of our videos sometimes and really tune into the big energy that's there, the big energy that makes you question, the big energy that takes you from one state to another. That's the energy that shows you, wow, there's a lot of energy coming through there. How can I get started? How can I get involved? That takes you from one vibrational level to another. And why? Because when you're popping like that, that light comes in. Because that's how you're really meant to be. That's the sacred child. You see a sacred child on the playground playing, they're just all, wow, that's how you're meant to be. That's how you're meant to be living. Excited in your body, youthful in your body, playful in your body, your imagination's popping. That is being aligned. And that is vibrational. Your cells are happy. Your breath is happy. Your mind is happy. You're aligned. Things are happening. You're manifesting. Things are coming to you. You don't have to chase nothing. 5D, there's no chasing. 5D, there's no competition. It just manifests. So are you manifesting from pure love and pure alignment, or will it be from wounding? And your life is your proof. Your health is your proof. So take your body with great sacredness, because it is. Your life force is very sacred. Your life force is everything. If you're having angry sex, you're going to create angry intentions, and those can create angry entities. Everything you do with energy is important because it creates. If you're creating beautiful, sacred making love, and you have a loving partner, and you love your partner, and you adore your partner, you're getting to know them on different levels, that is equal reciprocity with your life force. And you're not harming their body, and they're not harming you. There's no negative intentions going back and forth. So again, pay attention to your body. Pay attention to how you're activating and how you're interacting and engaging with light. Light is everything. And if you're acting in a negative way, then just know that you are manifesting negative energies and entities, and why people have the health problems that they do. But again, everything is healable. So excited! So you have guides that are with you for different reasons. They're there to activate. And remember, your guides, what they know, because they're in a higher vibrational dimension, they don't care about your ego and what the ego thinks it wants. So let your guides do what they're meant to do. Let them do their job. The more engaged and respectful you are of your spirit, they're going to help and support you. If you're not respectful of spirit, you're denying them and disrespecting them, they will back off because they have other things to do, right? They're seventh dimensional beings. They're there because they love you unconditionally. I have light ships in the sky all the time, and I cry because they love me so much. They follow me everywhere. Like beings and species and beings, they love me. And they make me cry because it's been such a disconnected experience here on Earth. And everybody walks around like they don't care about anybody, and they have angry sex, and they have sex with children, and they have underground things that are debaucherous and ugly and disgusting, that they don't care about who they are. They've lost utter care and connection with their spirit. So I implore and I encourage and I inspire all of you. You are God. You're one with the embodiment if you so choose. God is always here. God is always within. Spirit is always here. Spirit is always within. But it's up to you to participate with sacredness, because you are sacred. The planet is sacred. Breath is sacred. Your cells are sacred. Your life force is sacred. And when you reclaim that and you choose to keep your mind in the alignment with your higher self, your higher mind, I'm in alignment with my higher mind. My higher mind is my mind, my consciousness, my thoughts, my will, and you're aligned. You're not going to ever, ever, ever fall victim to anybody's manipulation, deceit, or agendas, because your mind is too powerful. Your mind is aligned with your blueprint, with your teams, with your experiences, with your excitements, with your creativity. And we will never fall into giving our power away again. And we won't have distorted masculines. We won't have distorted feminines. We're working through those energies, and we will face them, and we will heal them because we can, and we will. That is our destiny. So, dear lighted ones, we have a card. Anybody has a question down below? Did I catch everything, Spirit? I had a couple pages of thing here. So the embodiment of Spirit is the partnership. Just as a pastor or preacher reading the word from a book has no idea or understanding about their chakras, their fields, their aspects of dark and light, their aspects of divine feminine, divine masculine, and they have lost sight of who they are as a divine sacred child. So the excitement of that creativity, again, will not tap them into the dimensional bandwidth that is God. Because remember, God allows you whatever. If you wanted to put your consciousness inside a flower, you can do that. But if you're not aware of who you are as a multidimensional being, you're not playing and practicing it, that's a sacred child, you're going to lose out on all of those beautiful fun things that is just playing. You should be able to play on earth. You have the right to receive God, and in whatever way God wants you to receive. You're here to explore God as God. Just seeing a little being right there. Creative expression is equal and is the highest tool and attribute for your multidimensional healing. It is the go-to attribute for releasing matrix energies, patterns, and habits. Because again, behaving in 3D is not behaving in 5D. So once you acknowledge that you are a multidimensional being, working with your divine feminine masculine energies as they come up and as in your daily path work, spend an hour in the morning and an hour at night. And then as you're going throughout your day, you're going to notice and be more consciously aware of who you are as a multidimensional being, not suppressing your voice, not suppressing your choice, not suppressing who you are as spirit. Your expression of who you are, your direct path, regardless of what it seems and acts and feels like to another, means nothing. You're meant to follow your path because you're breaking the patterns. I'm a code breaker. Crystal children are code breakers. That means we break conformity. We come out and we shake shit up. And then we move on and we shake shit up some more. We're constantly moving, breaking, moving, breaking, moving, breaking. We will rarely stay in one place because we have to keep breaking the densities. We have to keep moving and breaking up codes. We have to keep breaking up collective densities. So we're constantly moving and we're constantly hopping. That's what Spirit asks of us because we're meant to work with the grids. We're meant to work with different sectors of space. We're meant to break up certain densities that are on certain war-torn lands. So crystals are always those ones that code break. They break the density of the matrix. They break up what was lower vibrational thought. I'm just a single person sitting in my body. No, you're magnificent. You're a multidimensional being. Get busy. Get up, take some deep breaths. Start behaving 5D. We're here to inspire you to break out of the matrix, to break out of who you thought you were. Work with your shadow, work with your demons, work with them and say, what are you here to teach me? What did I not believe in myself? What did I choose to fall away from? What did I choose to not see as important? What were my values and my morals? And again, that prefrontal cortex, as you're awakening, you're going to start feeling and sensing and experiencing those prefrontal cortex, which is all about you elevating those morals, those values, your experience with your emotional body. That's how you become a master, is just mastering your emotional body so that you're not flipping out and doing harmful things. And we all see that in our reality when the multidimensional experience is not being honored and the emotional body doesn't know what to do but just react and act out because there's so much wounding. It can't take anymore. So there's a lot to be learned and there's a lot to be experienced. Everything can be healed. That's why it's so important to share our videos. Share our videos, share our videos, share our videos. And the shadow banning will just take care of itself. Because God's working on all aspects to get my work out there because everything can be healed. And those that are conduits, those that are crystals, we activate with the crystic code. It can't be copied, it can't be mimicked, it can't be anything else because I'm unique to my soul's blueprint, to what I've earned and what I've mastered. And as to show it and to help and offer it to those that are working through their unique plans and their unique gifts and their unique authentic sensing. You're meant to sense who you are and then offer it. Sense the vibration of your uniqueness. Sense the vibration of your words. Sense the vibration of being spirit. You'll feel the difference. When you intend to work as spirit, when you intend to speak as spirit, you'll feel the vibrational difference. Okay, spirit, now I'm going to act as a soul. I want to call up my soul fragments. And you're working with your chakras. Your chakras are open. Your chakras are open. Your chakras are open. Your chakras are open. Call up for breath. Call up for breath. Call up for breath. Call in the light, call in the light, call in the light. See yourself being bathed with light, bathed with light. Release any negativities, release any rigidity, release any fragments of suppression and stuckness and stagnation and stubbornness and send it away, send it away. Transmute, transmute. I am light, I am light. I transmute, I transmute. I am fun, I am loving, I am fun. I am loving. My cells are healthy, my cells are light. Breathe, 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 breathe. A full body breath brings up your whole cavity. So breathe deep. Lift your chakras, lift your spine. Lift your chakras, lift your spine. Ground, 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 ground. Feel the earth, feel the earth, feel the earth, feel the earth. Open your chakras. Call in light, call in light, call in light, call in light. Just within 5 minutes, you'll feel a difference of who you are as a being. You've just called in a whole bunch of light and you've activated your fields, your chakras, your skin, your cells, and your cells are listening to you. My cells are happy. I am youthful. My cells are happy. I am youthful. My cells are being reprogrammed. I am light. I am light. I am youthful. I am light. With every breath, I am youthful. With every breath, I am me. My voice listens to me. My voice listens to me. I am in charge of my chakras. I am in charge of my consciousness. I am in charge of my voice. I am in charge of my choice. And breathe up, breathe up, breathe up, breathe out. Call in the light, and bathe, 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 bathe. Cleanse. Let go. Let go. Breathe. Full body breath, full body breath, full body breath. Anamarita kita kita, amarita kita kita. Lama keda kishan na ina na kada dida ma da gina ma na ida ama ida kishan na yakina ma ida ma na ida laina ida ma ida kira ma ida kira ina ma ida kira ida ma ida ma na ida ma ya and breathe. Feel yourself ground. Your body should feel 100% better, different, bigger, wider. How do you feel? Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to how you feel. Palms up. Feel happy in your breath. Call all your consciousness to your heart. I claim my consciousness with Mother, Father. I claim my consciousness with my chakras. I claim my consciousness with my voice. I claim my consciousness with Mother, Father on all that I am as a being of light. I am growing. I am expanding. I intend to be my light. I am growing. I am expanding. I intend to be my highest light. And breathe. Whatever visions come to you, that's your higher self. I love you. I love you. The crown chakras are going crazy right now. So cleanse out any energies in your crown chakras, anything you've taken on that's not yours. Cleanse your crown chakra just with intention. I intend to clear my crown chakra. Say it out loud 3 times. I intend to clear my crown chakra. I intend to clear my crown chakra at the very same time. Feel the beautiful violet flame and the beautiful white light from your teens. The angels in the heavens and the Michael archangels, cleansing, cleansing, cleansing your crown chakra, cleansing, cleansing, cleansing your crown chakra. And then just feel love and happiness, 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 love and happiness bathed on all your chakras. Love and happiness, love and happiness, love and happiness, love and happiness. You're re-imprinting on what was negative that you picked up. Love and happiness, love and happiness, love and happiness. And send the vibrations. Everything that you say from your mouth and your field goes into like a little vibrational song, like little notes of light language. And they sit in your field. That's why when I speak light language, it activates different parts of the field and I can see what's being activated. And of course I can feel it because that's part of my healing gifts. So bring all of your consciousness to your heart. Say, thank you, Holy Mother, Father. Thank you, teams. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father. Thank you, teams. And your teams are helping move energy around. Thank you for helping me release any energies that need to. You're releasing any imprints, releasing any patterns, releasing any densities. I love myself. My chakras are one with me. My chakras are one with all timelines that I've ever lived. My chakras are aligned with all my gifts and my skills. I'm accepting and I'm acknowledging, I'm allowing myself as a multidimensional being. And hold yourself in your divine sacred heart. Claim this is true for you. If you so desire, it's always free will. I claim myself as a multidimensional being of the holy light, of the holy heavens. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love my body, I love my mind, I love my heart, and I love my soul. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, for allowing me this experience to know that I can take myself from one vibration to another. And take a deep breath.
I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. My cells are alive and awake. My cells are youthful and awake. My cells are aligned and awake. I am love, I am love, I am love. Place your hand on your heart. I appreciate that I can take myself from one state of vibration to another with intention, with focus and direction of my energy. And I am in charge of my reality. Ala marakada de kesha shala la 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 kada de kesis yanaka ala marakada de kesis ya la la I nakada de ke ada de kesha shana and nabana edit amana I ada bata ke de ke anana ala la 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 ala la 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 ala la with it ada bata ke de ke. The violet flame is just bathing you, bathing you, bathing you, bathing you, la la la, bathing you, la 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 la. Intention is love, your intention is love, your intention is love. Cleansed and cleared, your intention is love. And your intention comes from your chakras. Your intention comes from your chakras. It comes from your beingness. That's how you manifest. You're not going to manifest from your mind. Your mind cannot take you through ascension. You must work as a multidimensional being. So take note on how you feel right now. You feel different than you were when you first started. You've acknowledged yourself as a multidimensional being. You've acknowledged yourself as the DNA aspect of all realms, all dimensions, all creatorship that you are with God, spirit and source. That you're transcending what used to be as patterns, as thoughts, as beliefs, as stories, as lineage, experiences. And anytime anything comes up or a trigger, face it, acknowledge it, write about it, talk about it, express it, and allow you as a multidimensional being to be changing and transmuting, changing and transmuting, changing and transmuting. And those around you will want to level up as well, because your activations affect them. That's why you're going to see them go through. I always used to say that when I used to go through a DNA activation, I would see my kids a few days later because my DNA activations help them. Even if we're not living in the same place, every time I have a DNA activation and I call in light and I work with light, it directly affects them because my DNA is connected to them. It's not the same DNA, of course, but my DNA activations, because it's threaded within the pillar of light and it's threaded within the pods that you belong with. Even those that have caused you the most challenge, you'll always have those that are really heavy in karma with you. You'll have one of those beings and members in your pod because you challenge and you trigger each other in different ways, so that you can bring your best light and they can learn and hopefully, see you as an example of different choices. So there's always going to be those deep karma experiences that you will have in your pod because it allows you to be a better master of your own light in your emotional body. So you can feel free to put any comments down below about how you feel through that beautiful meditation and remembering yourself as multidimensional light. We're going to pull one card here for the day and then we're going to let everybody go. But that was exciting to talk about the multiverse. And your multiverse. Oh, I love this one. It's one of my favorite cards. It's called the Releasing Allegiances. I love this. And if you can see, which I just noticed a little while ago. Is it on this one? It's funny, she has a little mark on her shoulder. This is one of my favorite decks because the art in this deck, you can see little tiny things that I never seen before. Every time I look at this card, I see things different. She's got the scarab beetles. So the releasing allegiances means that you've gone into a new. This is what it feels like when you're honoring your body and when you have a dark night of the soul. This is how you want to feel. You want to know that you're going to honor your body, you're valuing your body, you're going to be naked with who you are, face all that needs to be faced, cleanse and release what needs to be cleansed and released through your emotional body, through expression of your emotions, whether it's writing, journaling, punching a pillow if you're angry, doing it in a way that's not harming or hurting anybody. You're allowing yourself to express anger, you're allowing yourself to express hurt, you're allowing yourself to express the betrayal, whatever it is that is within you that needs to be expressed, call it up and face it. Allow your dark nights of the soul to be respectful of who you are now, because when you come out of those dark nights of the soul, you do feel like you're a different energy version of you, and you want to protect that. You want to protect who you're now becoming. So that means that releasing of allegiances means you're going to release what was no longer serving you when you just come out of that new. It's like being in a womb or a cocoon.
And that cocoon has shown you that no, you don't need those foods anymore. You don't need those aspects of friends anymore that keep you in constant gossip or drama or chaos. Those are how negative entities are fed, is through chaos, confusion, drama, manipulation, gossiping. That's how negative entities feed, karmic energies feed. And just to recognize it and be okay with it and then move on. You want to release those allegiances that keep you small, that keep you in lower vibrational programs, that keep you in self-degradation. You want to claim, say, no, I had those patterns before, but I choose a new version of me now. I'm going to release what's not in alliance with me. So the allegiances means you had old allegiances that you clung to because they were part of your beliefs and your patterns and your habits, part of the matrix. Accept it. Be okay with it. It's not comfortable because you have to face those parts of yourself that you gave your body away, that you sold your life force, which is the most valuable thing you have is your life force. It's yours, and you get to manifest whatever you want with life force. You can manifest a healthy body with your life force. That's why it's important to release allegiances. Anything that keeps you small, anything that keeps you sick, anything that keeps you rotating in vibrational programs that are less than, that keep you fighting for your voice, that keep you fighting for the smallest thing to be receiving. Because it's just the same toxic patterns. Anything that's toxic or low vibrational, release it. You'll know because it's just enough is enough. It's the thing you always talk about. It's the thing that constantly never goes anywhere. That's how you know to release it. The same fight, the same argument, the same non-giving, the same non-accountability, the same. That's a deep, deep karmic experience. And as long as you recognize it, say, this is what I learned from it, I'm letting go of it. Right? You just let it go. You have to acknowledge it first, though. If you're not acknowledging it, if you're denying it, it's not going to move on. That will stay in your energy field. You have to acknowledge what you have chosen. If you're choosing to give to a low vibrational experience, you have to acknowledge it. I've chosen to give to a low vibrational acknowledgement. I'm acknowledging it right now because, most often than not, because you want closure. Most often than not, because you want to be seen and validated, because you want to be seen and honored, because you want to be seen for being the being that you are. Because you gave so much, because your voice was not heard, because you were not valued. That's why you end up staying in those experiences, because a part of you said, no, I want to be fucking respected. I deserve to receive what I've earned. I deserve to receive my voice. I deserve to receive respect. That's when you stand in your truth, say, and there will be those situations, and again, this is part of the soul blueprint. Again, it depends on your soul. This is why it goes in 100. This is why it's so fast. I love soul blueprints. They just take you right out there. Depending on your soul blueprint theme, multidimensionally, multiversally, because I'm from the multiverse, I work within the multiverse. I feel it when I'm working with the multiverse. I'm always working with the multiverse, but more times than other times, depending on what council I'm working with or what's going on. Depending on what your contract is, what you've signed on to explore, you will have certain themes that are very, very important to your soul's contract because you're a voice of a greater collective. And because of things on other realms and other planets and other councils and committees that you don't know about. We tap into it in private sessions because that's part of your private session that I tap into. When you have a private session with me, we tap into the grander perspective of the soul. The themes that you've come to work with, the things that you've wanted to clear and cleanse, the things that keep bothering you and punking you in the head, but you can't seem to let go of, because that's the very thing that you're meant to come here and help offer. That's why everybody has a unique soul blueprint. Don't copy anybody else. Don't be like anybody else. You didn't want to be. The more that you try and be like somebody else, the more that you get taken off your own path. And you suppress the DNA. You don't get your activations. It's just, it goes backwards. It goes in rejection of because you're not accepting yourself. You're not saying that I'm a divine being of grace and goodness. God's got your back. God's got a whole plan worked out for you. You have no idea how profound your plan is that God has for you. You think your wildest dreams and God will take you 100 times bigger and better and wider. You have no idea what God has planned for you. But the first step is to acknowledge yourself as multidimensional. And so what did you say, Spirit? We're going to go back to that. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I love you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Yes, we're saying that you're vast and widely dynamic in your multidimensionality, and each and every one of you will be activated in your multidimensionality and how you so choose to bring your multidimensionality forward in your unique creational experience. For each and every one of you have different, again, as we mentioned earlier, different levels of the dimension that you're working within and the bandwidth that you're meant to expand within. You're meant to expand the bandwidth that you're in through your own creative expression, because you have pod members that are responsible. You're responsible for you and you're responsible for them. So every time you activate and intend your expansive, your light, your movement of that dense energy, your movement of practicing as 5D ways is helping activate others around you. That's how you know
absolutely that you're in oneness, that you're working as a light worker, even though you didn't think you were. Yeah, you are. Every time you clear a density and stay aligned with your story, stay aligned with who you are as God, when you're working with your teams in God, you're helping the whole entire creation. You've just cleared something on another planet. I remember this one client that I had many, many years back. This one client that I had, he was going through a really challenging experience, and at the job that he was with, and he wanted to leave, and he was having a really tough time. He was with me for a little while because we had several appointments together. He wanted to transcend this really karmic experience with this person that he worked with. And in the appointments, we had discovered that they were from other timelines and other planets and other jobs, missions that they had been on together. And they had kept coming together in different realities to trigger one another. And they had constantly gotten under each other's skin. And he was just like, okay, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. Because you do get like that with deep karmic experiences. And so in one of those experiences, in one of the sessions that he was sitting in front of me, I was doing some, Spirit had shown me that when I sit in front of clients and I'm having a personal session, it was a personal session at that time because I had the space to do it. He sat in front of me, and I was tuning into the fields and the grids and the stories that God was showing me, Spirit was showing me, so that I could explain the story to him, so that he could piece it together and be okay with the stories between him and this other person that he was having such challenge with. And he could see it in a way that he could say, okay, well, I can let that go now. I don't have to take it so personally. I said, no, you were comrades in a different mission, and, he kind of left you somewhere, and, he didn't fulfill his part. So now you're coming together and help repay each other, because he left him and he relied on him to finish the mission with him. And he had found him that when he was working with him at this job, that he would constantly have to babysit him and monitor him. And he didn't want to. He says, you're a grown man. I shouldn't have to babysit you. And so he felt that responsibility, but it was those Akashic timelines that they were clearing. And that's how you understand and read the Akash. And that's why the Akash is presented to those healers that know how to read it and work with it that way. But Spirit was showing me that as he was in front of me, that the energies that I was helping him pull up and release were 3 or 4 timelines that were threaded in a galactic experience. And the next day, the Plutonians had come to me, which they'd never come to me before. I'd never even heard of the Plutonians. And this is why I just love being a conduit and being a healer. The Plutonians had come to me. They were 6-dimensional beings. They're such a lovely vibration. Thank you. They're with me right now. They just tuned in. This is how fast, if I just open up to them, they're here. That's how fast multidimensional energy, that's just how fast and loving God is. They don't have to travel from a light ship all the way here. They're just here. As I just open that thread. That's what I help teach you in the vocational alignment sessions. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So this is why I'm having a throat clearing, because the Plutonians need to be accepted and acknowledged more on this planet. They're very profound vibrational. They work with vibrational bodies, the vibrational body of who we are. So in that one session that I had with him, there had been a ripple of energy that moved through the galaxy that had been felt in Pluto. And we think as Pluto as being the farthest experience, if you will. But that's just our vibrational box that we put time and space in, right? Energy, if you ripple out pure intention to see that for what it is and get excited about, wow, I didn't know I carried that from 3 different planets, from 3 different realms. And you get excited about, say, wow, I can let that go now. I forgive you. Be gone with you. Thank you for those activations. Thank you for that soul lesson. And you let that density go, and it buzz, and it ripples light through that whole entire collective. So the Plutonians came the next day and they said, Joanna, we're interested in what you're doing there. Like, what the heck's going on? We felt that whatever was happening yesterday, they tuned into that vibrational shift and change. They came because I had sent out a message the week before to call into new beings that wanted to work with me, because I wanted to keep pressing out and expanding my consciousness. So again, the universe, God, makes these divine experiences happen. So it serves them because they want to come in and start being our active participation with us on our ascension, because we've never activated with the Plutonians before. We've always talked about Sirius and Orion and all the beings that we're used to hearing about. But the Plutonians were very, very new and like a 6-dimensional being, and they're very, very subtle and very soft and very sweet, but they're very powerful with their multidimensional bodies. Very sweet and subtle. They said to me that we're very aggressive and we're very, very aggressive beings down here. So they tend to really stay back and just watch us and observe. But they were showing me that what I had done with that client was very profound, and it was felt all the way in
the vibrational experiences that Pluto, they said, wow, we want to know what you're doing, what you're doing there, how you're clearing those energies for those clients, because we felt it. And so just know that that's what a true vibrational conduit does. We help connect to those deepest parts that your body was really waiting for that to be released, and it ripples through all creation, right? All those aspects of you that you're connected with that affect all creation. And so that's the purity of intention you work with God, and that's why God places those before you. You don't necessarily know until after the fact. Wow, okay, that felt different. I absolutely did feel a difference because, yeah, the 6th dimensional Plutonians. Yeah, they're very, very beautiful beings. I love you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. They're with me. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so they're very beautiful and soft beings. They stand back, and they're different energy than a lot of the other beings that I work with. But they're very, very sweet, and they love to work with the multidimensional bodies and how the multidimensional bodies affect the entire planet. And so this is why our planet has been very imbalanced, and why working with the biosphere, working with nature is so, so important for getting your bodies back in alignment. So get outside with Gaia as much as possible, work with the fields. If you want a session with me, all my links are below. Payments first, and then I set up dates with you. Those that are pure of heart, that want to move through multidimensional healing activations, understanding who you are. My books are online. I have 3 books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. My 3 books, the first book is 5th Dimensional Consciousness, and it actually helps activating you because it was written, it took me a long time to write. And so everything that I write and everything that I put out are my codes. You'll get the codes, and you'll get what you need to get when you are in my experience. If it's copied and given by somebody else, you won't, because that's just how God has made it. God has made that promise to me that whatever is my work, and those will be activated in the beautiful ways that God and your teams, because those gifts are blessed to me, so the teams will work in honor of that. Because beings in the higher realm go by the laws of the universe. If God says this is Joanna's destiny, this is Joanna's plan, that's Joanna's content, that's Joanna's work, then the beings that are meant to be with me to experience what they're meant to experience, whether it's karma to be repaid, karma to be received, and all those kind of things, in many different ways, because again, the soul blueprint is so vast. It's 100 different meanings. You can't go over what it means in just one episode. But that's just gives you an idea. So just be safe with what you create. Be safe in your unique creative expression. Let go of everything else. God will make sure that whatever's before you is before you. All repayments will be made. If you're having issues, again, there's an episode that I wrote on governance and repayments of debt. If you go to that video, if you're having issues and you want to cut off vibrational contracts with those that continually are like that craw in your craw, whatever it's called, that poke in your craw, whatever it's called, I don't know what that term is. Those that constantly poke at you from a 3D experience, karmic experience, and they just keep wanting to pull you back in low vibrational periods and contracts. If you are go to that session, and you can actually, in a vibrational stance, if you want to let go of those energies from entities or demons or whatever there is an attachment or that constant nag of energy, and if someone keeps disrespecting your space, disrespecting your energy, trying to force their way into your dreams, and all of those things that happen in really dark karmic experiences. Once you claim your power, once you learn the lesson, I'm showing you how to work through the devil, and we're showing you how to work through the karmic shadows. Once you do that, you can actually do a little ceremony and do in writing how you want to release it and ask them to forgive your debt. And when you send it, when you have done everything in your highest and your best, if you have a debt to give to somebody because you have harmed them and damaged them in such a way, you can work something out with your teams, with God and the karma board, so that they can release you from that debt. You can then move away saying, I've done my best. You can leave them a little flower with a card on the door and say, I'm releasing myself from this debt. I have done my due diligence. I've done everything in my power. I owe you nothing, and God will release this debt from me. Then God, in the higher powers, will work their higher self and your higher self, and they'll clear that debt for you. You have to be pure of heart, though. So there's lots that you can do to work with spirit, but you have to work with spirit pure of heart. If you're not pure of heart, if you don't know why you hurt somebody, if you don't care why you hurt somebody, if all you care about is getting what you want, or why they're not with you, or why they're not giving to you anymore, that's selfish. You haven't learned the lesson. So go deeper. Heal that wound. You absolutely have to take account for how you harm and damage someone to release that debt. You have to actually feel the alchemy within you. That's usually crying and letting it go, because because you're one with that person you hurt. So if you're not feeling that vibrational experience, you have not cleared it, you have not matched that oneness. That's why you have to go through what I teach you. because it's oneness. You cannot get to 5D without practicing oneness, whether they owe you or you owe them. If they owe you and you want to let go of that, but you have this thing in the back of your mind, well, they owe me 10,000, they owe me this, they owe me that, release it. Because that's just holding you in that third D timeline. So let go of it. I would release it. That 15 grand is nothing. You're going to manifest 10 times more. So again, do what I just said. Vibrational, multidimensional, offer it to God, offer it to their higher self. When you're working with other people, you have to go through your higher self to their higher self. Again, right use of free will, non-interference. Don't work directly with them. You work with your higher self to their higher self. Their higher selves are working with each other. Again, why? Why am I telling you this and why is it important? It's a little quiz and we're going to hang up after this. It's a little quiz. Why is it important to go through your higher self to their higher self? It's really important. Might want to write it down. Take out your notebooks. Because it shows that you're practicing within the universal laws and you respect spirit. Because you don't want to interfere in their field, right? You don't want to interfere with what they might feel as a guilt because they can't repay you. That's why tithing is important, because it just releases you from that vibrational experience. You don't want to be held to that vibrational story. Everything is vibrational. When you respect vibration, God will move mountains to get you where you need to go so that you can get in front of people that need to be connected with. Because people are waiting for these high vibrational teachings. Religion can't teach you what I teach you. The 3D leaders cannot teach you what I teach you. This is multiverse. You want to be released from a 3D timeline. You want to be released from certain things that are karmic. I can help you do that. I can help guide you. And there's very sacred things that you can do to release yourself. Because when you released, I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was that easy. It really is easy. But what people miss most of the time and why people are sick and ill and diseased is because there is no connection between the multidimensional bodies and spirit. They've completely forgotten spirit, taken spirit right out, and they've gotten into a very dangerous, reckless experience through black magic and sacrificing, which is everywhere in the underworld. That's just saying that you no longer believe in God and the powers of your oneness with spirit. And therefore God will return that, because God wants to give you what you need to experience. There's no punishment in it. God just says, okay, if that's what you need to experience. God loves you so much so that God will say, I'll take a step back and let you experience what you need to experience as far as the negative aspects of God. But you don't have to. You can have a completely healed body. You can have a completely healed organs. You can have a completely healed mind where you have great dreams at night, where you're connecting with all the beings and the teams from off planet, and you start opening up all these beautiful gifts, and you start working with spirit and spirit's loving you, and spirit whispers to your ear when you're falling asleep at night. And you feel so loved that you just cry. You say, oh, I've never been loved like this. Thank you, God. And God says, oh, I love you so much, Joanna. You don't know how much you affect people because you're just so authentic and you're genuine and you just offer so much love. Because I care. I know how it feels to be down and depressed. I know how it feels to be stuck with addictions. I know how it feels to be stuck with those that are in addiction. I know. But you don't have to stay there. That's just a moment. Suffering is a moment, and then you can let it go. And then just keep working your way up. Just keep believing, keep believing, keep believing. And again, when you're working with those deep soul lessons and themes, if you're a teacher, a healer, a leader, yeah, dreams are really important, because dreams are those aspects where you're combining the higher consciousness and the lower consciousness. So if you can, as soon as you wake up in the morning, before you even think a thought, get out your dream journal and start writing your dreams so that you can let that energy go, and then you can observe it and reflect upon it as you're having your coffee, and just observe it and just sit with it softly. Because the information, when you're working with multidimensional information, and I have a dream interpretation class if you wanted me to do any dream interpreting. When you're working with multidimensional information, it's an ongoing story and it never stops. So if you have a recurring dream that keeps recurring, it's meaning different things because it's part of your evolution of you as a multidimensional soul. That's why we end up having those recurring dreams, because you're a growing, evolving being. You're moving through various threads again, threads of who you are as a soul. That theme, always go to the theme, because it's who you are as the core. There's always going to be a theme in the recurring dreams. And that theme is the biggest chunk of nugget that you want to hold on to. That's where you learn the most. That's where you heal the most. That's where you love the most. So that's why dream interpretation is really important, because it takes the subconscious up to the higher conscious, and you keep weaving it. You keep evolving it. Yeah, write them down. Absolutely write them down. Because you remember the most when the first 5 minutes of when you wake up. So 5 minutes as you're going to bed, 5 minutes when you wake up, that's when you remember the most. So remember the love, the excitement, the softening into multidimensional information. I'm softening into my multidimensional information. I'm softening, I remember. You can even do affirmations before you fall asleep. When I wake up, I'm going to remember my dreams. When I wake up, I'm going to remember my dreams. When I wake up, I'm going to remember my dreams. And then wake up softly. Try not to set an alarm, because if you set up an alarm, usually it jolts you and you end up going to your agenda for the day. That's why I get rid of alarms. Don't set alarms. Just tell your body when to wake up. Start working with your body as a vessel of light and vast intuitiveness, because you are. Then you say, I'll remember my dreams and I'm going to write them down, the points that mean the most to me. Focus on how you feel. The dreams will tell you the most when you focus, again, because you're an intuitive being, you're multidimensional. Again, work with who you are as a multidimensional being. You'll start moving. You'll start moving like a rocket when you start focusing on multidimensionality, feeling, intuiting, softening, exploring, observing. That's being a soul. So you're living as a soul, living as a soul, living as a soul. If you can, don't use alarms, because it's the outer matrix alarming you to wake up, and that's you. Just set your God light. Say, okay, God, I'd like to wake up at 4 o'clock. I want to have an hour of doing my light work. I want to have an hour of setting some intentions and doing some breath work. And then you make your coffee, you get the house ready, you get the lunches made, whatever is your morning program. But have your light work first thing in the morning. It sets you off on the day. You're calling yourself in, you're working with your bodies, you're working with your energy, you're working with your chakras. You'll notice a difference. You do what I offer you. If you do it 3 days in a row with pure intention to feel God in you, to work with God, to participate with God, to participate with your teams, to participate with your higher self, 3 days, commit to yourself 3 days, and you will see a difference. You will feel a difference. Everything's healable. Crime, violence is not necessary. We're multidimensional beings, and we're here to practice and behave as 5D. So I wish you love and light, dear lighted ones. Our donation button is down below. Our sessions, there's a 30-minute session, 90-minute session. Vocational alignments are at 45 minutes, but none of them have been 45 minutes so far. And that's for 70, 200 US, and then 500 US. And so all of those are the sessions. It's on our YouTube community page. And also just send the payment, send me an email, and then I will send you some dates and times. And there is homework because you want to start practicing and participating with God equally. Right? It's getting you used to behaving 5D. And that's when all the 3D stuff just falls away, and you start navigating new friends, you start navigating new jobs, you start navigating greater health, you start looking at different foods. Your whole world changes because you're choosing. You're choosing. I'm stepping out. I want to be 5D. Let's go, God. Let's do this. So I hope that's helped everybody. Love you. Bye. Rainbow hugs and kisses. Bye. Yes.